Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Embodied Woman. I have a very edgy conversation to bring to you guys today because this is a conversation that actually sparked in my life last night. It has been an evolution of, it's been an unfolding, I will say, but like last night, I just realized so deeply how big of a conversation this is and how edgy it is, but also how fucking important it is. And that's why I'm here. So, the conversation is around outgrowing relationships and manifesting a community who expands you. So, one of the sparks for this conversation was how, I have an incredible core group of women who knew me back when I was like in my early 20s. We met when I was 19, 20 years old. We've been best friends for 8 years. And I started to realize just how different we all are now. Not wrong, not bad. No one's better than another. We're just very different. And an old version of me would have accepted things inside of the relationship that this version of me is no longer available for. And it had me thinking about how people, specifically in the spiritual, personal development, entrepreneurial space, experience this a lot, where the people that were once closest to them don't really know who they are anymore. They don't really know this version of themselves. And I described it as there's a social contract that people often have with you, and it's based off of who you were when they first met you, right? Who they were when you first encountered each other. And that version of you is who they have a relationship with. And as you tend to grow and evolve and shift and change, they can't fully catch on because they still have this soul contract with you as this version of you that you no longer are, right? Like when I was in my early 20s, you guys, I was you guys, oh my gosh, I was so different. For one, health was not even like a priority for me whatsoever. I smoked a lot of cigarettes. I was really insecure. So I was kind of crazy in my relationships. I didn't really know who I was or my voice. And I always kind of presented myself to be like the runt of the joke, I don't know how to say it, but like the butt of the joke, right? Like I was always the one to just like make people laugh because I was really insecure with myself. And so like I decided as a defense mechanism, I was just going to laugh with them. And although like I still love obviously making people laugh, there's now a part of me who like knows her worth, who is very confident in who she is. And I don't really feel like I'm available for being made fun of anymore because I'm not available for that. Anyway, so like I was a very different version of myself when I was in my early 20s. And over the past 3 years, as I quit my corporate job and I built this multiple six-figure company, and I've done a lot of spiritual growth and development and healing in who I am, I realized last night in conversation with my friends that like they don't know me. They don't know who I am as this version of myself. And I'm not saying, and the title of this is like outgrowing friendships, but I don't believe that outgrowing is the right word. I think it's just being on a different path and becoming a different version of yourself. And the alignment for those friends is just not a match anymore. It's not like anyone is better or worse, or that you're on a pedestal or I'm on a pedestal. It's literally just like, whoa, like we are very different in who we are. And again, specifically for entrepreneurs, it can be such an isolating journey. Like people don't understand. Oh my God, there's a butterfly flying by my face. How fun. A lot of like normal people, like the people who like the way the people's whose purpose is to live the normal path of life, like there's nothing wrong with that. But if it's not yours and you're surrounded by people who are like, I like the 9 to 5, I feel awesome, like I love my job, I feels really good, it can feel like you feel really misunderstood, right? And same with the personal development world. Like if you are in the space and you're like, I want to be a better version of myself, I want to heal my wounds, I don't want to act out of toxicity, like I want to be a more abundant version of myself. Like when you are growing and then you have a group of friends that like really are just uninterested in that stuff, once again, you can feel really misunderstood and quite isolated. And this was a huge thing for me when I first started my business. I had no friends that really understood me. I didn't have like a community of people that I could go hang out with and talk about business with, talk about mindset, talk about manifestation, talk about spirituality. Like I didn't have those people. And it was a really hard time for me. So if you are there right now, if you are at the beginning of your journey and you just feel this sense of like, I'm outgrowing my friends, quote unquote, outgrowing, I no longer feel aligned with the group of friends that I have. I want to be surrounded by people that expand me and who get me. If you're there right now, I just want to take a moment to fucking honor you and hold space for you, because baby girl, I know how challenging it can be. I know how hard it is. I know how just sad it is. Like it doesn't feel good. And I also want to take a moment to invite you into my space, because in the community of the embodied coach and the embodied woman, you will be held and seen and celebrated and understood in ways that you probably have never felt before. So I just want to welcome you in, because you don't deserve to do it alone, and you don't have to. And you have a space here in my heart and in my community. Take advantage of it. Okay, so there's that, right? Now, the other thing too that I want to dive a little bit deeper on is this feeling that like you no longer have a tolerance for like bullshit. To be totally honest, like I realized that I used to have a really high tolerance for bullshit. Like I said, like I didn't care if I was the runt of the joke. I didn't care if people said mean things to me. I didn't care if like people were unwilling to grow and evolve. Like that shit wasn't important to me in my early 20s. But now that I am in my late 20s and I'm in the world of development and growth and healing, it's like my tolerance for fake bullshit is so fucking low. My tolerance for toxicity is just unavailable. And I see this happen with a lot of people, because sometimes like the catalyst to us getting into the space of personal development is because we are surrounded by toxicity and we're just like done with it. We're done with it. So if you are at that point where you are done, I want you to know that there is people out there who are going to totally fucking get you and want to celebrate you, want to see you win, aren't going to put you down. They're going to uplift you. Like there are people out there. However, it's going to take you being willing to put yourself out there first, right? And what that can look like is, again, joining a community of like-minded women, of like-minded humans who are also interested in the same things as you. It's also going to take staying open to different types of people, right? Staying open to possibility instead of closing yourself off from people because they don't know you, they are not your friends, they haven't known you since you were in high school or whatever. Like, put yourself out there. It also can take or look like joining something like a group of women that expand you, like a mastermind. It could also look like hiring a mentor who expands you, that can introduce you to more people. And it also could look like releasing the people that are no longer aligned with you. And I don't just mean like, give them a middle finger, say, fuck our friendship for the past 10 years, like you're no longer my friend. I just mean you don't have to make yourself available for those types of relationships. If they're no longer aligned for you and you're ready to have a group of people who actually uplift you and expand you, you've got to be willing to release people and declare that you're no longer available for that. So you've got to be willing to have boundaries and release people and just have some space and distance between you and the people that are no longer aligned with the woman who you are today. And that does not make you a bad or wrong or mean person. It makes you a woman in her power who knows her worth. And let me tell you something. The more you move with that and you act and you live in that state, two things are going to happen. You're going to call in the people who are actually aligned with you, and you're going to manifest this community who's like obsessed with you and wants you to win and wants, again, to uplift you and empower you. And two, you're going to inspire other people to rise with you, period. Right? Like those friends that maybe you feel like you're no longer aligned with, or that you're quote unquote outgrowing, they're either going to be inspired as fuck by you and rise with you, or they're going to be triggered as fuck by you. And that's an opportunity for them to look at their wounds, and maybe they will, but maybe they won't. That's not your responsibility either way. Your responsibility is to do you and to be in your power, to be in your alignment, period. So I want you guys to understand that this is a natural part of evolution. This is a natural part of entrepreneurship. This is a natural part of life. And just let it be. Like, let it be a part of that journey. There's nothing for you to fear around being a next level version of yourself. There really isn't anything to fear. I know like the fear is real, like the fear of failure, the fear of success. And the biggest one, which we're really talking about today, is like the fear of acceptance. Like, if I grow, if I change, if I evolve and become a richer, wiser, more confident, more powerful version of myself, will I be accepted? And the answer is yes, you will, if you accept yourself. But it might not be by the people you are seeking acceptance from. Right? It might not be from the people who want you to stay small, for the people that, again, know you as a different version of yourself from when you were younger and maybe more insecure, or maybe less in your power, or maybe, you didn't do the things that you used to do or be the things that you are now. Like, they might not be the ones that accept you, but they don't have to, because again, they have a soul contract with you, a social contract with you, from a completely different version of yourself. But your job is not to live up to the contract, the invisible fucking contract, just because they expect that from you. Your job is to live a life that, you fucking love, to live a life that's aligned with your soul and your purpose, to be the wealthiest and most kind and giving and powerful version of yourself. You guys, I'm clearly so passionate about this because I don't think I've taken a breath in a fucking hot minute. So let me do that. That is your job. Your job is not to stay small or to stay insecure or to stay whatever expectations those people have of you. That's not your job. Your job is to continue to grow and evolve and expand. And when you do, and when you commit to that, you're going to find people who get you, understand you, accept you, and want to continue to expand you and expand alongside you. Okay. I feel like I talked a lot you guys, I just spoke so much. Oh my gosh. I just talked about a lot of things right there very quickly. So maybe go back and re-listen to this, and you might pick something up for a second time, and it might land in a different way. I also invite you to send this episode to anyone else who might be feeling the sense of like isolation or feeling misunderstood. And again, like if you are looking for a community of people to expand you, look no fucking further. Like you found it. I am here to expand you, whether that is inside of my free community, my Facebook group, whether that's inside of Instagram, whether that's inside of my paid programs or mentorship. My mastermind will be opening up at some point, and like that's going to be the most expansive container because you will be alongside women who are doing big things and want other women to do big things as well. So there are so many opportunities for you just here in itself. But if you don't fully align or vibe with me, which, I doubt you don't if you're listening to this podcast, but if you don't, that's cool. I'm cool with that too. There's plenty of other opportunities and people for you to connect with who will expand you. I love this. I love this conversation. I also just want to give you permission to let people go and set boundaries who just no longer align with you. You don't have to cut them off. Like, I'm not saying cut people off. I'm just saying, like, know what you deserve. And if they're no longer a match, you are so safe to set boundaries. You're so safe to create distance and space. And you're so safe to create new friendships and new relationships with people who really want to rise alongside you. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I love you. I'm so here for you wherever you're at in your journey. And we'll talk on the next episode. Bye.